Some of the biggest stars in the world have performed here at the Palace Theatre. The show is Aida, written by Elton John, Sir Elton John, should I say, and the star of the show who plays Amneris is Mandy Gonzalez. How are you?
I'm great. A little tired, but good after a show.
I have to say, thank you so much for doing this today. I hate it when they give me interviews with actors on a 2-show day because it must be your worst nightmare.
No, it's not too bad. I mean, you get about 2 hours in between anyway, so I knit in my room otherwise, so this takes me away from that.
I have to say straight away that this is a really wonderful show. It's magical, it's got a love story, it's everything that a musical should be, and I have to say your performance is just incredible. Your voice is beautiful.
Thank you so much. That's really nice to hear. We all came in together, the 3 new leads, Tony, Will, and myself, and I think that we have a really deep connection, because we started together, so thanks a lot. That means a lot.
It's a top show. It's Aida. It's on at the Palace Theatre, which is wonderfully positioned, isn't it? I mean, right there under the clock of Times Square.
It's a dream to be at the Palace. I mean, I used to watch the old movies where everybody would say, "Oh, the Palace," like Judy Garland and stuff. So it's a dream to be there and to see her private stairway where she used to go to watch the opening act of her show. I mean, I'm a huge Judy Garland fan, so that's why. So it's a dream to be there.
We're going to talk about you in a moment, but let's talk about the musical first. What is it about?
The musical is about a Nubian princess, Aida, who gets captured by an Egyptian prince, Prince Radames. And Prince Radames is betrothed to Princess Amneris, but he ends up falling for Aida, and she falls for him too, but since she's a slave and they're different, they can't be together. So it's about their struggles, about the 3 struggles, about Amneris gets jilted, but that's just how it goes. But it's really about the struggle between, I think it can relate to pretty much anything in life, like that we've gone through, is civil rights, everything like that, when 2 people are in love and they can't be together.
I have to say about your voice, of all the people I've seen in theatre over many, many years and reviewed and talked about, you have one of the most powerful, natural, easy to listen to voices I've ever heard. Congratulations on that. Did that come naturally? I can't believe you were trained to do that.
Thank you so much. That's such a compliment. I started taking lessons when I was about 8, but just from also mimicking people when I was younger. I mean, my dad listened to a variety of music from Three Dog Night to Elvis, to everybody. So I would mimic the voices, and then my grandmother listened to Judy Garland, all the old musicals. So with lessons and just an ear, I think that I've come up with my own sound, After mimicking for so long, I think you finally adapt to your own voice.
Did people always tell you you're a star, you had an amazing voice?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like high school, junior high was when I did all the talent shows and things like that, and people always, complimented my voice, and but I've always kind of remained very, very humble. Nobody, I've always been told that, you can't get anything if you don't work hard, so, that's always been my mentality. I've never bought into that other mentality.
Do you question when you're on stage or rehearsing or whatever, why me? Why have I been chosen as the best person possible to get this role? Because this isn't provincial theatre, this isn't local theatre, this is Broadway. Right. And there's an immense amount of pressure there, but do you ever question, why me?
I think I do. I don't think I question it enough, actually. I think that I feel so blessed and lucky to be a part of it, and I just think that every day, like, wow, this is what I do every day. I get to come to the theater and do this show and sing in front of all these people and really take people away for that 2.5 hours. I feel blessed, and sometimes I have to pinch myself, to see if it's real, but, once you hit the stage, it's all about the audience and pleasing them, so I kind of forget about myself.
It must be a great thrill for you to be on stage every night with the live orchestra, because it really is like your own rock concert, really, isn't it, at times?
I mean, I used to play in clubs when I was about 18, just in different clubs in Hollywood. It's such a thrill to have live music. I mean, there's nothing like it. I'm glad that it's still here, and the musicians in Aida are great. What
has the struggle been like to get here? Was it easy for you or difficult?
I don't think it's ever easy. I mean, I moved to New York about 3 years ago, and I worked a little bit in LA, but I wasn't really getting in the doors there. And then I came here and I hit the pavement. I worked 3 jobs, and I hit the pavement. I went to every open call every week, and I finally booked a job off Broadway called Eli's Coming, and that was after 6 months, I think, of just auditioning nonstop, and
you won an award for that, didn't you?
Yes, I won an Obie Award for Eli's Coming, and it just kind of skyrocketed my career to where it is today. From that, I was Aida. I was in a standby over at Aida, and then I booked Dance of the Vampires, and then they called me and they wanted me to come back to Aida. So
it's incredible. Let's talk about Dance of the Vampires for a moment, because I don't understand what went wrong with that show. Michael Crawford was in it. Now, if he isn't big enough to sell a show by itself, I can't understand.
I think he sold it for about as long as it ran, but when, the critics just brutalized it, I mean, a show can't depend on just one thing, you know what I mean? There's so many things that went wrong with that show.
We have to bear in mind that this is a multi-million-pound business. These shows cost a fortune to get on stage, don't they? How could such a big show with such a high-profile star go so wrong? One of the critics in Britain said he looked like a drag queen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say to that. It just was not well received. We had a lot of trouble with the show from the get-go. It was just a lot of cooks in the kitchen, I think. I mean, I can't say you got to blame one thing when a show fails. Like you say, it's like a multi-million-dollar show. There's a lot of people involved. And I think when a show fails, it just fails, and you just got to pick up and go to the next show. You know what I mean? That's my life. Like, you can't listen to critics and hear what they have to say, and that's, that's that.
The press in Britain are particularly brutal when it comes to musicals and theatre generally, and they do close shows. Are there successful shows in terms of the actual musical, great music, great book, great stars in it, etc., that are fantastic, but the press don't like it, so it ends up closing because everybody believes it?
Right. Well, there are shows like that. I mean, Aida's a great example. I mean, Aida didn't get great reviews like you want to get, like producer reviews or hairspray reviews. Aida was like, well, we don't know, this and that. Like, we liked the lighting, we liked the sets, but and it's like, the audience doesn't care. If it's a good show, the audience will come back. And I think the difference with Dance of the Vampires is that it wasn't such a good show, so we didn't have that audience connection, you know what I mean? So
as a performer, do you know quite soon that it hasn't quite got that Lion King, producers, Hairspray, Aida star quality?
I don't think I did, because I went in pretty green into a new musical, like a huge musical like that, and I was just so excited to be there and to be a star, like, you know what I mean? At 23, that's like, a huge deal. And so I wasn't like, well, the show just isn't working. But then when we got into tech, and it was just kind of like, okay, not really working, like, what's going on? It's a little terrifying. And then our director's mother was ill, who passed away, and we don't have a director there. It's just very terrifying, because there's going to be critics there, people are going to be judging you, and you can't do anything about it.
And they will personally attack you before the show, won't they? They will pick you out, and they could wreck your career technically, couldn't they?
Right, they really could. But I think it's all a matter of how you take it. They can wreck your career, sure, by saying that you're bad. Like, so what? You're bad in one show, or the show was bad. You wreck your career. I think that, you can do what you want with it.
And thank God you're in a great show now. That's what matters. Let's talk about your upbringing. And you're from LA, aren't you? Well, that's pretty showbiz, isn't it?
Yes, it is pretty showbiz. My family, we're about 45 minutes from LA. And my family is not into show business at all. I mean, very small town and all that kind of stuff. And God knows where I came from. Like, my sister, they're very quiet people. I was just different. So
what do they make of you now when they come and see you on stage?
Oh, they love it. I mean, they're so proud of me. All the recitals they had to go to. I mean, my poor brother, I really, I feel for him. I mean, we had rules like no singing at the table, Mandy, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So, I mean, they're proud of me, and I'm proud of myself, and it's really a joy when they come out here to see me, because I feel like I've really accomplished something.
Something that I think is a great talent beyond the obvious with someone like yourself is how you keep it fresh every night. Because I do radio shows every day, but they were talking to different people like yourself that are interesting. I can take another perspective with it. But with a show like Aida, there isn't the room to change a single word, really, is there?
No, you have no room to change. I mean, you can change your the direction, and we were all directed, the three of us, when we first came in. but the show's set, you know what I mean? And Sherry Renee Scott came and she set the show. She originated the role, so it's how it is, you know? But I think that in order to keep it fresh, you just got to keep in mind who you're doing it for. You know what I mean? And that the people that paid to come see it every night have never seen that show. Or they've seen it and they love it and they want you to be your best. And so you don't fool around, you get the job done, you know? That's my point.
It's a good skill, and as I say, there must be days, though, when you've had things go wrong and you just think, I don't want this. Is it the minute that you see and hear the crowd that it just becomes showbiz, right, got to do it again?
I think when I see the lights, when I turn around in the box and the spotlight hits me, I'm really put into a different place in the theater. I mean, the audience, you know, could hate you one day and not like you another day, so, you know, you got to pretend that they all like you, and when the lights hit, you got to realize I'm on a Broadway stage. It's not like there's room for mistake, you know?
People do expect perfection, and with this show, I sat there trying to find things that were wrong last night, because it's a new cast. You've been doing it for a while, but it's relatively new.
Right.
I thought it was absolutely wonderful, and as I say, your role really captures the audience because it's funny, it's tragic in one sense, and that must be great, because there are a lot of parts on Broadway that are just parts, really. They can be the star part, but they don't really capture the emotion. But your character really does get the laughs and the tears at the end. You know, it's fantastic. It must be a thrill.
It really is. It's a great character, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
And you get to go on stage at one point wearing nothing but a towel. I mean, how marvelous
I
is that?
know. A towel and a slip at one point. I know. Please come to the show. No, it's a humble thing. I mean, Dance of Vampires, I was in a bathtub with a leotard on. I mean, you know, as long as I'm not naked, I'm fine.
And they wondered why it would never work.
I know, right?
It's really great to talk to you. It's been fantastic meeting you, and congratulations on the show. It's Aida. It's on at the Palace Theatre in Times Square. You can't miss it. You just have to look up for the big Aida sign, can't you, when you come into New York? Right. And congratulations, as I say, on your voice. It's amazing. We're going to end with a song now that was the song in Britain that made it big time. Elton John had Leanne Rimes do it, I believe, written in the stars. And it's the song that still brings a tear to people's eyes, doesn't it, every single night?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, you just have to listen to the lyrics. It's two star-crossed lovers that just can't figure out why they can't be together.
Thank you so much for sparing the time today. Mandy Gonzalez, who plays Amneris in Aida on at the Palace Theatre, will end with Written in the Stars. Thank you.
The Alex Belfield In Conversation podcast with daisymedia.co.uk.
Alex Belfield.